We all know what it means to do a cross file index across time space vectors. So I'm going to pull an old file up of a movie that came out when I was a young man called, what is it? Stanley Kubrick, I believe, produced the film and directed it. It was called Space Odyssey. What is it, 2010? And remember Hal, the computer, the AI? And what happened? I'm going to have to lock you in, right? Now, fast forward to what I just watched that the AI actually popped up on my screen. And here was a guy named James Cameron. And if you know James Cameron, I believe he did the more recent version, the big Hollywood extravaganza called the Titanic. Now, I've already covered my story on my adopted grandfather and grandmother that had booked passage on the Titanic, and my grandmother became severely ill the night before. And so you understand how a mathematical DNA sequence, right, mathematically is sequenced. And so it would have changed future memories in a planetary, galactic, and universal memory bank, right, of potential future memories. So Mr. Cameron was talking about what happened out there with this submersible. Apparently it was called the Titan, and it imploded. And apparently this guy was using carbon dioxide. So I stopped that video that I was watching because Mr. Cameron seemed to make note of something that came from the movie called The Space Odyssey 2010, where he quoted Silicon Valley. So, you know, all the folks that work in Silicon Valley, right, all the computer information gurus, building systems command, engineering circuits, building motherboards. Yeah, and he said when you break the rules, bend the rules, you end up getting caught in something that you can't get out of. Space Odyssey ring a bell? Isn't that why we're all here, called the inner doorway, the inner breath, the inner space? Yeah, and asking for help. Right? And that was also echoed in a couple of other movies that I watched when I was a little kid, called Shelley's Frankenstein. Remember that classic literature? And the movie It's Alive. So you can see it live on display whenever you go into a courtroom and you're speaking to a Mr. Smith. Right? And so I was noticing, for example, this judge in Texas, in Houston, his name is Fleischer. And I went and looked at his resume, and he talked about compassion in the courtroom. So I watched a short little video today of how he communicates to people in his courtroom. And I realized, man, no kidding. He had somebody in there that keeps doing the same thing over and over again, and it keeps coming before the same judge, and this same judge keeps giving him the same breaks, but that person that's coming in there keeps breaking the circuits, which is breaking the rules. So it all comes full circle, because these beings that keep coming before these judges realize, man, this is like a recycle bin of beings that keep coming in these files, like a filing system. They keep coming back. They keep coming back. They keep coming back. Generation after generation after generation after generation after generation. And they keep repeating the same mistakes. That's the damage that's done to DNA as a result of artificial intelligence, because the codes are not compatible. So I think we should send a letter to every courtroom in America and let these judges know that's what they're dealing with. So what are they going to do? Start issuing red tags to all these folks? Instead, they house them in jails. And that's certainly not going to fix them, is it? That's why we're here. Okay? Just like, remember the story I told you with Lay? She was red tagging most of the folks on this island, on the big island of Hawaii. That's non-repairable, that's non-repairable, that's non-repairable, that's non-repairable, that's non-repairable, that's non-repairable, that's non-repairable. So the same truth is echoed by James Cameron. So I'm echoing that. But I'm not a mimicker. I know what the truth is, and I know why we're all here. Same time, same channel, because there is no time. There's only what love is. That's what we are. Have a beautiful evening wherever you happen to be. We love you all. Equally sharing.